Okay, so let's reinstall the spindle. So I've greased the ball joint over here and also over here just to try and keep it from getting seized up in the future and to make our life a little bit easier. Now you're going to have to lift up the upper arm to try and get it into the spindle, but just to fight against the lower arm.
A few minutes later.
Now, at this point we've removed the shock in order to clean this up and paint it. So the lower arm is a little bit too low to be able to set the ball joint on the top properly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to install the smaller washer, which is the only washer you need for the lower. Install the washer. I'm going to loosely just install the nut a few turns over here just to keep the spindle in place. And then I have a small floor jack over here, and I've added a rubber piece so that we don't scratch or damage our freshly painted suspension. And then we're going to lift it up a little bit to help us get it closer to the upper arm so we don't have to fight with it as we want to put our upper nut into there. There we go. So we're getting closer, and now we're popped in on the top and we're in on the bottom. So we take our large washer and then we're going to install that on the top one along with our nut. There we go, nice and tight. Now we'll do the upper one. Now on the upper one, you can bring the nut close to tight, but don't forget you have an alignment adjustment that we marked at the beginning before we took everything apart. So you may want to orient that before you tighten it finally in the front while you still have a bit of slack. So now your spindle's in. Now what you can do at this point, since you have the suspension lifted up with the jack over here, you may as well go and put the shock back in. Now we can reinstall the backing plate. Before we do that, we'll have to take off the tape that we put on here and then get some of those brake parts ready. Alright, so now let's mount the backing plate back onto the spindle. Bring that over here. So now one thing that when you're installing these drop spindles that I found is that getting the lower pin for the shoes is a little bit of a, well, actually it's impossible in what I've seen. Maybe someone can say otherwise. So put it in before you install the backing plate. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to install the 3 screws that hold the backing plate on the spindle. I'm going to put just a little touch of anti-seize on it, mainly to just lubricate the threads a little bit going into the new spindle. Then these also have lock washers on them, so don't forget to put those back. Now this side, the brake cylinder has seen better days, so I'm going to put this back together for now just to see how high the car is after we've installed the spindles, but this is going to get replaced soon, just as soon as we get the parts for it, and then we'll put up a video on how to do that. And then what I've done also in preparation of this, I've taken all the brake parts, the brake springs and clips and pins and everything, and we've cleaned them and then painted them just to keep everything nice and neat, tidy. Alright, just snag these up good. There we go. Alright, so the backing plate's now on. Next thing we're going to have to do is with the brake stuff. Actually, I'm going to remove these 2 adjusters, clean it inside, lubricate it, and put them back in. Fix the threads on these adjusters as well, and we'll go over that in another video. But These often are forgotten and not maintained properly, and that's very important in order to make adjusting your shoes after a bit easier for you. So I'm going to get these ready, and then we'll come back, and then we'll have the tie rod in to put back, the shoes and everything to put back on, and then we should be ready to put the drum back onto the car. Okay, so we have the adjusters cleaned up and freed up. What I like to do is I'll put just a little bit of anti-seize or grease, whatever lubricant you prefer. I prefer to stick to anti-seize for this particular application on here, and then you can reinsert the adjuster into socket. Don't put too much. Okay. Well, what you may need to do is, if you're having a little bit of a difficult time because you're in between teeth or whatnot, there's a little metal adjuster, you can lift that up and then push it in, and then you can just turn it to where it should be. There we go. Now on this adjuster screw, if you want to call it that, you can see that this side here is lower than this side here. You have a bit more meat on it, which means that the actual inside groove is on an angle like this right now. And if we turn it this way, it's on an angle like this. So that angle has to be in line with the end of your shoe that's going to come onto here, so that your shoe is sitting flat in that angle. And you'll see when we put the brake shoes on. So the adjusters are all lubed up and ready to go. The next step will be to get the shoes on. And what I like to do is, the rubbing points for the shoes are usually areas like here, here, and there. I'll put a bit of grease or anti-seize on there just so it's not metal on metal and doesn't make any noise as you're braking and so on. That helps out. So we'll do that and get the shoes on. Here's one of the brake shoes. The orientation is this way. You see on some pads you'll have a notch. This one has no notch. The smooth side will go towards the cylinder, and then the side with the dip in it goes towards the adjuster. So it's going to sit like that right in here, and that's how it goes. Put a bit of lube over here. Put a little bit on there. A little bit over there. Right. And then our shoe is going to go onto here. Now, from my experience, the thinner side of the adjuster is on the inside and the thicker is on the outside to go with the angle on here. Another thing I like to do is to put just a little bit of lubricant wherever there's contact points over here into the cylinder and into the adjuster, just like that. So that's how your pad's gonna go, your shoe. In this case, we'll take the other pin that we haven't installed on top over here, put it through the hole in the back of the backing plate, and then push it through like that. And then you'll have your spring. It makes it easier if you orient it either horizontal or vertical when you're installing the retaining spring. You'll have your spring, you'll have your retaining cup over here, and then on some cars, like this one, you should almost be able to put it in by hand, and then turn it just like that. And that one's on. Some other cars you may need a special tool just because there's more tension, something that looks like this. In this case, it's not really needed. Now we're going to do the lower shoe. Same procedure, except with these lower spindles, what I found is that you can't get your hand back there to hold the little pin here. So what you may need to do is to get a pair of long nose pliers. The ones I found to work well are ones that have a bent end like this. We're going to reach in and hold the pin from moving, just like this once the shoe is in, so that we're able to push on the spring and turn the cup to lock it in. So with the lowered spindles or the drop spindles, it's a little bit more of a pain to get this lower one in, but very doable, especially if you're using a little pair of needle nose in there. So now once everything's in, it should move pretty well, pretty freely from side to side. And again, we're going to adjust these tension or these adjusters once the drum is on, and we've installed the rest. Next step, we're going to install the tie rod end, and then we can push the speedometer cable through the center. There we go. The speedometer cable is through, so that's out of our way. And then now we can get our tie rod end and then screw that in to the tie rod assembly over here, and we move on. What we're going to do is we're going to put a little bit of anti-seize on this as well, just on the tip. It'll work its way in, and then we're going to thread it in. Alright, so now you may have right hand thread or left hand thread. This is a hold on, right hand, left hand thread if I'm not mistaken. In general, again, you have to check your car, but in most cases one side will be left hand, one side will be right hand. Could be different in your case. Double check before you order your parts. So we've screwed it in. Once we've rechecked our measurements for what we took before we took this whole thing apart to get our alignment as close as possible over here, we're going to tighten down this nut and bolt over here to lock it in, and then we're going to install the tie rod end through here and tighten it up. Alright, so we're going to finish up installing the brake components over here, and then we're going to deal with adjusting all that once we get the drum on. Only parts we have left to install on the brakes are the two springs. The larger spring, these are the two tension springs. The larger spring goes onto the side of the cylinder, and then the shorter or the thinner spring goes onto the side of the adjuster, just like that. Now what I like to do is I'll use a little vice grip, and I'll just grab it over here to install it, and we'll just pull down, put it in the lower hole, and you're done. Same thing for the larger spring. I just grab it here like that. This will require more force. Make sure you're in. We're in good, and that's it. Your springs are on. You're still moving pretty freely like that, which is good. Next up, we're going to finish installing the tie rod end. Double check all our measurements on that before we do. Put the tie rod end in, make sure everything's tight, and then we're going to lube up the axle shaft, put the drums on, tighten those up, and then we're almost ready to put on the floor. Okay, so now we have the brake shoes on. We have the retaining springs, the large one and the thinner one. We've greased up the adjusters in the body over here, as well as anti-seize on the threads of the adjusting tips over here. We know that the wheel cylinder will need to be replaced, but for now we'll leave it there. We've added a little bit of grease. I'm going to put a little bit on the axle shaft over here as well, and that's it. Our drum is ready to get reinstalled. We've replaced the rear seal on the drum. That's new. Bearings have been repacked. In this case, the bearings have been changed because the axle shaft and the drop spindles are larger. And now we will just bring that in. We're on pretty good. We have a little bit of drag on the disc, on the shoes inside. We're gonna bring this washer with a groove on it. There's also a groove in the axle shaft here to lock it in place. So you put that on there next, like that. Then afterwards, we're gonna put the locking nut on. It's got an Allen key screw to tighten it down once you've adjusted it. And now on the two front axles, the locking nuts are not the same. One side, one side is left hand thread, the other side is right hand thread. It's a bit of a safety feature, so at the end of the day, both of these will tighten by turning them towards the front of the car, just like so. So in order to tighten them on, you're going to turn this forward like so. Now the procedure for this is usually to tighten it all the way and then to back it off a little bit so that the washer in here can be moved with the screwdriver up and down a little bit. So if you were to back it off a lot more, you can see now that we're moving the washer a little bit. It's not so easy to see on the camera, but now it's very loose. So you can see the movement. So we tighten it back up like that all the way, and then we just back it off a little bit, see if there's a bit of movement on the washer, and that should be okay like that. We'll recheck that once we put the wheel on. Important thing here is you want to make sure that there's no slack or slop in the bearing, but you don't want to over tighten the bearing because that also can cause a premature failure in the bearing itself. So not over tight, but just tight enough, and then you're good to go. Once that's done, we're going to tighten up the Allen key screw here. Just like so. So this does not move anymore. And we're done. So you can hear a little bit of drag on this one, which I've adjusted prior. And what we're going to do here is that's your adjusting hole, and you would line it up with those gears. And once you're lined up with the gear in here, you put the screwdriver in and then spin the gear in the direction that you need, either to loosen the shoes or to tighten them up. And that's it. So that's ready to go. The last thing that we have left is to now install our new tie rod into the actual spindle, and then we're going to lock it in place, and then we'll be good. We'll be done with this side. The last and final thing, once that's done, is we'll put this cap on, but I'm going to wait to put the wheel on just to double check everything is correct, and that you'll have to pass your speedometer cable through the middle on the driver's side like so, and then we just pop it on, tap it on with a rubber mallet until it seats itself properly, and then you're all ready to go. This side will be back together. So we'll start with that now. So next thing, tie rod in goes back in. Now I'm going to put just a touch of grease onto the shaft of the tie rod. Put it in place. There we go. And now we're going to put, I added a washer and then the locking nut onto this. That's tight. There we go. Perfect. Pretty much ready to roll and to put our wheel back on, and then repeat the same finishing touches on the other side, and then we'll see what we were able to accomplish with these drop spindles, cleaning everything up and putting it back on the floor, and see how the car sits. So here we go, guys. The spindles are installed, the drop spindles 2.5 inches, and you can see the wheel gap is not too bad. I'm guessing there's about 3 fingers of wheel gap over here, which is okay because that's roughly the amount of gap in the back. Hard to tell right now because it's been lifted up in the back, so the wheels haven't set themselves back properly, but super happy so far with the way the car looks now.